Hello guys, my name is Dobromir Dyankov. You may also know me as InLifeTrill from VideoHive.net. Today I'm recording exclusively for 8 Plus, so I hope you saw the final preview. So let's jump into After Effects and try to create this effect. What I did already is I created a composition in half HD, about 6 seconds long, 25 frames per second. That is all. Let's start by selecting the type tool, click on the blank space and type 8plus.com. Once you're satisfied with the result of your text, here on the right is the character panel. You can adjust the font, the size of the text, and other stuff. Make sure paragraph center text is on, and simply press P on your keyboard to reveal the position property. Right click and reset to make the text appear in the center of your screen, and I'll even push it a few pixels downwards. So once you're satisfied with the result, let's start by animating a few of the parameters. I'll click the small triangle here, go to animate, enable per character 3D. I'm not really sure we're gonna use it for this example, but I like to keep it on just in case I need it later. So again, animate, position, at select wiggly. Now as for the wiggly selector, uh, we'll set wiggle seconds to 0 and minimum amount also 0. Enough with the wiggly. Let's adjust the position. If I move the X upwards, you see the effect we're getting. So I'll just animate the parameter. I'll say minus 500 for frame 0. I'll jump forward to frame 15 and reset it back to 0. I'll do the same by adding a scale. Another animator, again for scale, uh, in frame 0 I'll set the scale to 300, make a keyframe, jump a few frames forward, make it 100. Let's see the result we're getting. Okay, not too bad. And let's add opacity. This will control the visibility of our text. For frame 0, 0, make a keyframe, go to frame 15, make it back 100. So it disappears and it appears. And a small touch to keep the animation live after the main animation is done. We'll be adding tracking. I'll set it to 0 in the beginning, and I'll go to the last frame and I'll set it to 10. It's always a good practice to have something moving on the screen, never leave a static frame. So once you're satisfied with the result, you can close the 8 text that we just wrote, and now's the time to colorize this element. I really want to add a ramp effect. If I go the traditional way, effect generate ramp, I'll get kind of an unexpected result. Let me push those sliders up and down. Now I want the ramp to stick to each of my letters, but if I now preview it, you'll see that the ramp is kind of stick to the world space of the text and not to each letter individually. So this is not the result we're looking, meaning the ramp effect will be of no use for us. Let's try something else. Right click, layer styles, gradient overlay. Let me close some of those. So gradient overlay, click the triangle once, it will expand. We have colors, edit gradient. We have color pickers. I'll choose something, let's say from light blue to dark blue. I never choose values from totally the right side because they're uh, too strong for me. Always pick a subtle colors. This will make your colors look really much more smoother and professional, by the way. So um, here we are. I'll change the style of the gradient to radial, and I'll align with layer off. This will give me the effect you're seeing. I really don't like the blue I picked, the first blue, so I'll maybe pull down that and choose something like this. Okay, much more positive color. This is it for the text we animated and we colored it. Now it's time to pre-compose it. Layer, pre-compose your text. Once we are satisfied and done with that job, let's rename this to clean and duplicate it using edit duplicate or Control D on your keyboard, and I'll name this one bevel. I named this clean since I will not be adding any effect to it. So this is bevel, which means, as you may guess, that I'll be adding a bevel to it. So first of all, I'll add a fill, then perspective bevel alpha. Let me switch off the visibility of the clean layer so you can only focus on what we're doing on the bevel. So I'll change the color of the fill to black, which will only leave me with the highlights of the bevel alpha. I'll change the light angle to 45 and maybe the color to brightness of 50, which will give me a neutral gray. I'll hit OK. Now if I change the blending mode of the bevel to screen, which will actually clip the black, and switch on the visibility of the text layer, and well, this is the result we are getting, a very subtle and neat effect, which may not look as a big deal at the moment, but those are actually the details that add up to the whole picture and make your work look interesting and outstanding. So once you're done with that, let's proceed by duplicating the clean layer again and move it to the top. This time I'll name it PP for pixel poly. Yes, we'll be using pixel poly, so perspective, simulation pixel poly. Let's see what it does by default. Okay, we have some pieces falling to the ground and they are pretty large, and we basically want to do the opposite. So let's modify some of the parameters here. The force is obviously way too strong, so let's make it 10. The gravity is +1. We need to make it a negative and much more slower, so like -0.25. Direction randomness, not 150, maybe. Speed randomness, this will be 100. Grid spacing, this actually controls the size of the produced pieces, so this is where I type 5 and I enable depth sort. So let's see what we got. Okay, not too bad. We have small pieces. Now I really don't like that they are all kind of the same size, and they look too uniform, and I want to randomize this stuff. So I'll duplicate. Before I duplicate, I'll name those small. I'll duplicate and I'll name those large. Now what I'll change is simply the grid spacing from 5 to, let's say, 10, which will produce larger pieces. Let's see how those look on top of one another. Much more better. Now I have small and large pieces. Okay, good enough. Now I'll duplicate the large again, and instead of randomizing the pieces, now I'll randomize the color by selecting glow. I'll add glow, style as glow. This will also simulate the burning of some of the pieces like that. Okay, we have glow. What I need to do is change the grid spacing to something a little bit different so that the large glow and large do not overlap. I'll say 12 looks good. Now in the glow settings, glow threshold 50, glow radius 20, or maybe 20 is too small of a value. Let's try 30. Okay, looking much more better. The only thing that we need to do now is maybe add some depth to the whole thing. Now Pixel Poly does not support depth of field, sorry for this, and if this is the case, then well, we'll simulate it by again duplicating the small Pixel Poly layer. I'll name this Dove, and so what I'll do this time is let's say, first of all, I'll add blur, fast blur like 3. Okay, 3 is okay, and I'll change the gravity to, let's say, 20, so that those pieces move a little bit slower. And there you have it. Let me rewind that back and scrub forward to see what we got. Okay, So we have large pieces, small pieces, glowy pieces, and now blurry pieces, which actually gives us the result we're looking. Very random and interesting pieces going up. So let's polish this with a few flares. But before that, let's create a background layer, new layer. Let's call this background. I'll create a really very simple background, nothing special this time. I'll be using the ramp. I'll make it linear. I'll change the color to something bright and something almost black. There's a chance of rendering banding, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just leave it like that. I'm sure you can play with the ramp in detail. So here we are. Okay, not too bad. Now, as I said, let's try and polish this thing with a few flares. This is done by new solid. Let's call this flares. Change the blending mode to additive. Let's find the flares, generate lens flares. Here it is. Now you could be using a plugin for the flares, but I really wanted to pull this off into the with the basic tools. So let's try this, or maybe that. No, let's try 105 millimeter prime. I'll change the flare brightness to 30 or 35. Okay, 35. Let's colorize it. Color correction curves. First of all, I'll clip that halo around the flare because it's too strong for my taste. Okay, like that. And again, color correction CC toner, which will give me the power to adjust the midtones only, and I want them to be kind of blue. Okay, let's try a nice balance. Okay, that looks okay. We have our flares. The only problem now is that well, I need to animate the flare. Since there's no easy way to do it, we'll have to do it by hand. So let's start by going to frame 15 is where our text comes together. So a few frames earlier, let's say at frame 10. You know what, actually let's go to 15. I really want to see where my text ends, and I'll take the flare center like that, and I'll position it here on the left, right between the A and the E, maybe something like that. Okay, now I'll go back to frame 10. I'll create a keyframe from the flare center, press U on the keyboard to reveal my keyframe, and I'll jump forward, let's say 30 frames. 10, oops, sorry. I'm using shift and page down, so 10, 20, 30 frames, and adjust the Y position upwards so that the flare is going up. I'm guessing something like that should be fine. Let's see. Okay, not too bad. We have a nice flare going up. The only problem now is that the flare is visible long time before it's actually needed. So for the flare brightness at frame 10, I'll make it 0. I'll move, before moving, I'll press U again to reveal the newly created keyframes. So I'll move 10 frames forward, and I'll reset it back to 35. I'll move to the final frame and I'll make it 0 again. While holding Control, I'll click on the middle keyframe to make it roving keyframe, which will give me smooth transition between visible and invisible. So there it is, a nice little flare. Alright, so now's the time to make a few other lens flares and distribute them around the whole length of the text. So this will be easily done by duplicating the lens flares we already have with the keyframes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm hitting Control D or duplicate here from the edit menu. And U again. Let me see the newly created keyframes. Quite a few of those. So let me close all of those. So we have a few keyframes. that at the moment are all appearing at the same time. So first of all, let's offset them in time. I'll do this by moving a few frames forward and backwards and placing the new keyframes at those locations. So I need to edit lens flare 2, so I'll move forward 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll select all of the keyframes by creating and dragging a window around them, and I'll move them to a new location. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll move the third one there. Now I'll leave the fourth one as it is. I'll move the fifth here and the sixth here. Okay, this is in a way a randomization. There's maybe some scripts that can do this for you, but it's a rather simple task, and I'm sure you'll be able to pull it off by yourself. Okay, we offset them in time. Now let's offset them in position. Lens flare 1 is okay. It's on the left. Now let's try with lens flare 2. The easy way to offset it is by clicking the flare center while being in the first frame of the starting animation without having anything selected, just being in the first frame by placing the time marker there. Click the flare center. As you see, it selects both of those keyframes. Now if I slide the X value, it will move those two together, will not without breaking the animation between them. So this is really handy. I'll move it to the left and maybe a little bit upwards. So this is for flare 2. Let's see what we can do with flare 3. Again, click it so that it has both of those keyframes selected. I'll move it to the right, and well, this time maybe I'll leave it here. We can always adjust those after we see how we place them. Let's go with flare 4. This must go somewhere around the middle, maybe something like that. Okay, forward, flare 5. This should go to the right, and maybe up. And the final one is totally on the right. Okay, let's see how it looks, and we'll adjust the positions later. Okay, well, not too bad actually. Let's play it again. Okay, maybe I need to adjust some of those keyframes to be located a little bit upwards, like that, for example. Again, you do the same. Click the flare center while in the first frame, and just move it. Okay, let's see where the second one is. This one, I can also move it up. This one is okay, I guess, and this one can also go a little bit upwards. So let's see now. Okay, looks a little bit better. You can play and customize those as much as you want, randomize them in time, in location. It's really up to you. Just try to make it as random as possible. You can always tweak those. It's actually not that of a hard task. So yeah, final adjustments, and that would be all. Let's see. Okay, nice work. Right, so once you're satisfied with your flares and with the locations they are placed in, what we can do, first of all, let's select all of those layers except for the background and pre-compose those. Layer, pre-compose, call this simply composition, and change the blending mode to screen again to reveal the background. Now I'll duplicate this composition by Ctrl D again. The bottom one I'll name, let's say, reflection. Why not? reflection. I'll press S on my keyboard. This will reveal the scale properties, unchain the X and Y, and for the Y, simply put a minus in front of it. You see, this flips the second copy of the composition, meaning the reflection. Now I can press P, which will bring me the position, and I'll move it downwards just a few frames, maybe something like that. Okay, so now we have a nice reflection, but it's not looking very realistic at the moment, so let's play with that. I'll go by effect, simulation, no transition, linear wipe. I'll change the wipe angle to 180. As for transition completion, you see what it does. I'll move it to 50%. I'll feather the whole thing by 150 maybe. Yes, it looks okay. And I'll change the opacity by pressing T, which brings me the opacity option to maybe 30%. Okay, that looks okay to me. Real nice. Okay, very smooth. What you can try to do now is maybe add a color correction. Let's call this color correction. Of course, color correction curves. Let's bring the curves a little bit downwards, something like that. And let's add another one. Saturation. You can add all of those effects on one layer, but I like to keep it separate. This way I have more control over the strength of each one. So I'll boost this just a little bit, let's say 15. So much nicer. Okay, now I'll add a vignette and I'll add a blur to it. Let's say something like, alright, 20, repeat edge pixels, and select the ellipse tools and double click it while having the vignette selected. This will automatically add the mask to the layer. In the mask, hit invert it. This will invert the mask so that the blurriness stays outside and inside is clean. And feather it by pressing double 2 times M on your keyboard. Sorry, here it is. Those are the mask properties. Here we have feather, let's say 150. And the result I'm after is the particles get a little bit blurry as they reach the end. You see here on the right is much more pronounced. And that's one of those small things that actually makes the difference at the end. So let's see how it looks now. Okay, real nice. So this will be all, guys. The great power of building your stuff like that is that now in your text composition there's simply a text layer which can by any time be replaced to, say, your website, for example, and the whole animation automatically updates, and now you're getting a very fluid and flexible way of changing your text, and that's actually a really fun thing to play with. So hope you liked it. This was my first tutorial. I'm really excited about it and I'm planning to post some more, so stay tuned and have a great day. Thanks and bye.